According to Bloomberg, Bitcoin is ripping. The world is watching with anticipation. We have rate cuts in 20 hours. Good morning. Welcome to the Bitcoin news with the fast facts. Now, Bitcoin is pumping. We are back above $60,000. We can thank Larry Fink for that. Turkey, they had an Amiga candle today. Yes, it's here. It finally happened. The publicly traded company Cathedra has adopted a Bitcoin strategy. They're shutting down all their miners. CNBC and Bloomberg, they're ramping up Bitcoin content. It is game time. Although Joe Kernan, the host of CNBC, he did call Trump's project cringe. We'll dive into it. First off, the price. Bitcoin's ripped in the last 24 hours from a low like 57,600 yesterday. We are sitting at 60,346. 47 cents. If we have a look at the past 24-hour spread, 57,633 was the low, 61,242 was the high. People are getting pretty excited for this rate cut. 100% chance we do get a rate cut tomorrow. May still be a little bit more volatility. Actually, let's be honest, there's going to be a hell of a lot more volatility coming up from tomorrow onwards. It is game time. That's what we live for. This is why we are in Bitcoin. Anyway, carrying on. Samson Mao. Carrying on. Amiga candle in Turkey today. Already up 105k daily in Turkish lira terms. Absolutely insane. This is coming to a fiat currency near you. Hopefully you are ready for it in this price, 60,447. In my opinion, still a pretty good deal to be able to hedge yourself for when this happens. It's actually pretty sad to see. Absolutely crazy. Now, Bloomberg, Bitcoin is absolutely ripping. They say this at the start. We'll skip through. We'll play the first clip and then we'll skip through.
Crypto, a look at the people, transactions, and technology shaping the world of decentralized finance. Live from Bloomberg's World Headquarters in New York City, I'm Matt Miller. Bitcoin is ripping today.
Bitcoin
the move
is
comes about 26 hours before the big Fed decision. The first U.S. rate cut in more than 4 years is expected to set the stage for riskier assets such as crypto. Former President Donald Trump unveiling.
I wasn't going to play it. There's 25 seconds. He talks about Trump's cringe token. He doesn't call it cringe. Joe Kernan did. But we'll play this. We've got another minute to go. It's well worth time listening to all of it. The signal starts at about 50 seconds and 25 seconds to go.
His crypto platform and his son's also promoting it. He leans into digital assets in search of donations and votes amid a tight election race. And we're going to talk about crypto's role in this election cycle with Coinbase's head of U.S. policy, Kara Calvert. Let's take a closer look at where Bitcoin is trading. As I said, it's ripping today. It's surged, bringing it to the highest level that we've seen this month, pushing its year-to-date gain.
Wow, the highest level we've seen this month. I like the lower prices, but go on.
To around 40% right now. Bitcoin trading at more than $61,000. Meanwhile, MicroStrategy recently bought even more Bitcoin, this time another 18,000 coins in its biggest transaction in more than 3 years. The company, led by Michael Saylor, dropped some $1.1 billion on Bitcoin between August and this month, according to an SEC filing. It now holds about 245,000 Bitcoin, valued in total at about $14 billion.
Pretty crazy. Bitcoin is ripping. The Amiga candle, it happened. Samson Mao was only 1 week and 1 day off, and he definitely got the currency wrong, but it is here. And before we dive into Joe Kernan calling Trump's new crypto project cringe, if you could do us a favor, smash the like button as you tune in on this grand and glorious day. The Bitcoin price for a buy was looking a hell of a lot better yesterday, and it's still cheap today. It's amazing how quick it can move in 24 hours.
I know just enough to be dangerous, but
just quickly, I just want to credit Simply Bitcoin for sharing this. Joe Kernan of CNBC, Squawkbot calls the Trump family DeFi crypto project cringe from last night. X space. I'll restart.
I know just enough to be dangerous, but if a crypto expert started throwing questions at me, I guarantee you my answers would be cringe. If you were to do that, Mackenzie, you know so much more, but I just wondered, because it's the lead story, on Drudge. It was supposedly, and then I'm looking at everywhere else, and I really can't find anything, that really describes it as that cringeworthy. But maybe it was. A
little bit of fun. Now, breaking US senators, they demand 75 basis point rate cut in a letter to Powell. Very unlikely that's going to happen. But we'll dive into what we can expect. 50 basis points is on the card, 25 to 50. It's almost certain. Greg Foss chiming in. Nobody can predict with absolute certainty whether the next 10K move in Bitcoin will be up or down. Someday we will be saying the same thing about the next 100K move, the Omega candle. The only certainty is fiat debasement. Math and the debt spiral make debasement certain. Jay Powell, he's the GOAT of Fed shares. Joe, chiming in. But even he is going to struggle this FOMC. To lose. You go 25 basis points, the market will be disappointed. You do 50 basis points, and he's going to promote recession fear narratives and second guess about why they didn't cut in July. So I was Googling yesterday. I typed in Bitcoin into Google, and I got these two articles side by side. And just look at the headlines. Bitcoin shows stability amid the Fed rate decision. The next thing was literally right next to it. Bitcoin faces high volatility amid rate cuts. Analyst predicts potential sell-off. As Greg Foss is saying, up, down, nobody knows what's happening short term. We just buy, stack, and chill. At least that's what I do. That's the easiest way to be able to play the game. The volatility, it's a feature, not a bug, but to be able to try and time the tops and bottoms can be a little bit hectic. Now, 20 hours, 16 minutes, 14 seconds, the whole world is waiting. They're watching. They're ready. What Jay Powell's going to say, it'll be pretty interesting. 63%, this is saying a 50 basis point rate cut or 37% of a 25 basis point rate cut. I think on Polymark, it's about 45, 55 spread respectively. Now, it's that simple, the Bitcoin way. Bitcoin is money. You don't invest money. You earn it, you save, and you spend it. That's it. Don't overcomplicate it. Just adopt it. It's the easiest way. If you need any help getting your Bitcoin off the exchange, reach out to the Bitcoin Way today. The first 30 minutes is free. Tony and the team, 25 years cybersecurity experience. They never touch your keys. They never touch your coins. And they'll just hold your hand. They'll walk you through the process. They'll be able to educate and allow you to understand the process to be able to do it so you become self-empowered, become a self-sovereign individual. I've used them all the time. I couldn't recommend them enough. Recommend them to friends, family, and out here. And obviously that's the reason why they are the sponsor. They can help you become a free individual. Bitcoin is about separating money from state. Yes, the number go up, absolutely fantastic. But if you're not holding in a self-custody air-gapped wallet running your own node, maybe it's not going to be accessible when you need it. That's the point of Bitcoin. It's this freedom money, this freedom tool. We can just opt out of the state surveillance system. Do it the right way. If you need any help, reach out to the Bitcoin Way. Link at the top of the description. Absolute epic. Just to be able to have a conversation, anyone on the team, you'll enjoy it. Very old video of Larry Fink, but now mainstream media is starting to ramp up their Bitcoin content. And we've been talking about it for a while. Like, wait till 100K. In my opinion, my belief is once we're at $100,000 USD, that's when all the mainstream media is really going to be talking about it. That's really when they're going to dive into this train. They want to get on the gravy train. Why? Because it gets views, it gets clicks. It's all exciting. People get in there with the FOMO, but a little bit of a pump, 4.44% overnight, and they're starting to ramp that up. We're going to see Larry Fink really ramp things up again. This is when he first sort of started, not first started saying it's an old video. I think it's from like June or July this year. Mario Nafal posting it. Larry Fink, I was wrong about Bitcoin. Huge signal, and if you haven't seen it, it's a good reminder. It's 2 minutes 43, a little bit of a long one, but well worth a share again.
Now, I know you have been a leader in willing to embrace crypto. You have made it so that people can be in Bitcoin. We hear that you are thinking about Ethereum. These are incredible things. Now, BlackRock is not known as a gunslinger by any means. So you obviously must believe that this maybe is an alternative. Is this an alternative in order to be able, because of a deficit, maybe something long-term people should have?
Absolutely. As you know, I was a skeptic.
Yes.
I was a proud skeptic. And I studied it, learned about it, and I came away saying, okay, my opinion 5 years ago was wrong. Here's my opinion today. This is what I believe in today. I believe the opportunity today. I believe Bitcoin is legitimate. I'm not trying to say there's not misuses like everything else, but it is a legitimate financial instrument that allows you to have maybe uncorrelated, non-correlated type of returns. I believe it is an instrument that you invest in when you're more frightened, though. Right. It is an instrument when you believe that countries are debasing their currency, debasing their currency by excess deficits, and some countries are. I believe we have countries where you're frightened of your everyday existence, and have an opportunity to invest in something that is outside your country's.
Sorry to interrupt, but there's just the best comment in the chat. Reverse Kramer, always. The guy gets so wrong.
Control, then you can have more financial control. And so I'm a major believer that there is a role for Bitcoin in portfolios. I believe you're going to see that as one of the asset classes that we all look at. I look at it as digital gold, as I said before, and I do believe there's a real need for everyone to look at it as one alternative to, I would say, the optimism that I have in the world. If you want to hedge hope, Bitcoin is not an instrument for hope unless you're hopeful you're going to make a lot of money on it. But I look at it as a vehicle in which you're expressing your financial acumen in something that you're more frightened of the world, you're more frightened of your existence. And I believe there's a great industrial use for it. And I think a lot of people are missing that.
I couldn't agree more. I changed my mind about it when you did. You had been my thinking.
Jim Cramer changes his mind all the time. I think Zig's onto it there. Reverse Cramer, always. If Cramer's bullish, maybe it's a good time to be bearish. If Cramer's bearish, let's be honest, with Bitcoin, it's always a good time to be bullish on Bitcoin. We will dive into a couple of the questions towards the end of it. We've got a little bit to get through with today's news. Now, yesterday we covered Bhutan, and they have twice as much Bitcoin as El Salvador, says Ark. And just a couple of little interesting takeaways that I missed yesterday. So they hold more than 13,000 Bitcoin, which is more than double El Salvador's stash. On September 16, on-chain analytics platform Arkham Intelligence pointed to a group of addresses holding 13,029 Bitcoin, claimed as the first to publicly identify Bhutan's Bitcoin holding. Now, this is pretty crazy to the extent they went through. Added that it was able to corroborate the timeline of on-chain mining activity with time-lapse satellite imagery of facility construction at the site of the now-defunct Education City project. Bhutan's GDP is expected to reach $3 billion by the end of 2024, meaning its reported Bitcoin holdings represent about a quarter of its GDP. Mining, they're using hydroelectric power. It began in 2019 when the price of Bitcoin was only around $5,000. They got Bitcoin at the price they deserve, as we all do. They got lucky. No, they did not. They put in the proof of work, as always, whatever price you buy. How it differs from El Salvador. Comparatively, El Salvador started its Bitcoin acquisition September 2021 when the Bitcoin price was 10x high, 51,700. This is what I thought was pretty interesting. They're a landlocked Buddhist kingdom on the eastern foothills of the Himalayas with a population of just 790,000 people. 790,000. Comparatively, El Salvador has a population of 6.3 million. Absolutely crazy. Well done, Bhutan, but well done, El Salvador, as well. Block. Let's see if we can get a refresh this morning. 861,750. We'll check out the hash rate. It did drop about 12% yesterday, 11.54%. I want to see if it's come back on, or was that Cathedra shutting down their Bitcoin mining? 60,369. We do have the grand glorious 69 this morning. How does it get any better? And what else is possible? Tesla. Nikola Tesla, if you understand 369, you understand the laws of the universe. Paraphrasing there. Hash rate. Holy cow. Now, this is hectic. Yesterday, the drop of 11.54% was absolutely insane. It's not something that I'd seen before. And then the hash rate coming back up, 27.33%. This is probably pretty close, if not at an all-time high. That's insane. Even in the last 7 days, it's up 3%. It's so wild. People are getting pretty excited. Obviously, the price has come up, and miners are attempting to be a little bit more profitable. This is a pretty cutthroat game. We're going to dive into what's happening with Cathedra. But they have adopted Bitcoin as its primary treasury reserve asset. There's only a little bit highlighted, but I actually want to read all of it. I thought there was pretty high signal here. As management of Cathedra Bitcoin Incorporated, we have long been vocal about our Bitcoin thesis. We believe we're in the early innings of a multi-decade trend that will see Bitcoin emerge as a dominant global reserve asset due to its unique monetary policies and prevailing macroeconomic and geopolitical conditions. Brackets, the curious reader may refer to our 2022 letter to shareholders for a more detailed articulation of the thesis. And bracket, Bitcoin was among the top performing assets the last decade. No kidding. And we expect comparable performance in the coming decade. I'm good with that. Now, highlighted. Accordingly, our primary goal is to accumulate Bitcoin on behalf of our shareholders. In recent months, we have heard repeatedly from many of our largest shareholders that growth in Bitcoin, or Satoshis, also called sats, the smallest increment of Bitcoin per share, is the most important performance metric to them. Going forward, we'll make all capital allocation decisions with the intention of maximizing our shareholders per share Bitcoin holdings. This is a philosophy we have always held in our minds, now formalized as our explicit policy and primary objective in stewarding shareholder capital. So what they've done is they have adopted MicroStrategy's playbook of buying Bitcoin in the open market. They will move away from their Bitcoin mining business and will develop data centers instead. Bitcoin is a pretty cutthroat game. Cathedra Bitcoin, they're going to pivot away from Bitcoin mining to providing general data center services and buying Bitcoin on the open market instead, the company said. So Cathedra, they cited unpredictable profit margins as a cause for the shift. It was Michael Saylor, whose MicroStrategy championed large corporations buying Bitcoin on the open market. Then surprisingly, one of the biggest Bitcoin mining firms, Marathon Digital, MARA, M-R-A, adopted the same strategy, and now another miner is following the same path. Last two things. Cathedra Bitcoin, a firm that started as a miner, said it's changed its business model to develop data centers and will use profits from that business to buy Bitcoin instead of mining it. The last 3 years have demonstrated to us that Bitcoin mining is not a reliable way to grow shareholder Bitcoin price per share, the company said in a statement, noting that the firm's primary goal is to accumulate Bitcoin for the shareholders. Nation states, companies, corporations, individuals, entities, I think, at least for me, my whole mission is just to acquire as much Bitcoin, but people are really starting to wake up and demand that they get more Satoshis per share. And is it going to outpace Bitcoin itself? It'll be pretty interesting to follow along and watch this, but they're real hard pivot, from Bitcoin mining to data centers. Now, British HODL chiming in, the S&P 500 at all-time highs the day before a rate cut cycle begins is symbolic of how bullish we're about to get. We may have downward pressure for a while, but ultimately we're much higher within a year. Get ready, Bitcoin. Absolutely agree. Short term, up, down, and sideways, does it really matter? No. But today's pretty symbolic of what is to come. We're sitting at about 4% on the last 24 hours. This video, not 100% sure when it was filmed, but it's only a minute 30 or a minute 28. Well worth our time.
And wrote a piece about the broad acceptance by the community now.
Yeah. Look, I think you're seeing the bleeding edge advisor right now talking to clients and not recommending crypto, asking clients if they want to have crypto in their portfolio. And if they do, there are now some really great liquid, publicly traded options from the largest asset management firms literally in the world. That's what's changed this year versus last year. What'll change next year is you'll have more advisors proactively saying, this is a non-correlated return stream. We're not exactly sure what the fundamental driver of the price is, but we do know it differentiates relative to stocks, relative to bonds, relative to commodities, and it's something that we think you should have an investment in. Unfortunately for investors, that'll probably happen at Bitcoin 100,000, but that's just the nature. That's just the nature of human psychology.
You get a sense of that, Tanae, as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Something I'm hearing here is that Bitcoin is kind of the only certain thing. So unlike, my reporting from the crypto side, I think once you see Bitcoin hit an all-time high, you tend to expect Ether to follow, and then that long tail of other crypto assets after. We haven't really seen that from the altcoins. Ethereum is kind of losing its luster. There's this feeling that the investment case for it is not really playing out, but Bitcoin, you know, regardless of who wins the election, is the only certain thing right now.
All right. In times of uncertainty, I guess with just clown world ramping up more and more and more, people want hard sound money. They don't want whatever Ethereum or everything else is. And what are they? They just change them so often. So Bitcoin, it's playing out, and everything else is not keeping up. It's good to see. It's nice to see the mainstream media send the signal on that one as well. Dennis Porter still putting in the proof of work. He's getting a bit of pushback for whatever reason. The guy's doing Satoshi's work. I'm going to produce paper after paper until it's abundantly clear to anyone opposing Bitcoin that you're on the wrong side of history. My goal is to erase any shadow of a doubt that Bitcoin is one of the most important creations in modern history. I was in a little bit of a debate this morning with someone there on X. Anthony Albanese, Australia's Prime Minister, put out a thing, we're going to make housing cheaper. I said, just stay out of it. Let the free market provide housing and stop manipulating the system. That's paraphrasing, basically. It's a little bit more articulate than that. Now, this person has come in and said, I need price controls to stop my landlord making my rent high. So the government prints 40%, or like nearly doubles the money supply in the last 4 years, which causes inflation. Interest rates are at the highest. Obviously, renters, landlords, are going to raise interest rates. They're going to have to pass that on. By capping them, it disincentivizes people to go into there and put more housing on the market. Obviously, for a truly free market, we need the government to be able to stop printing excess money as well. But if there is a profit to be able to be made in a free market, people are going to come in and they're going to reduce that profit there. They're going to put more supply out there. But absolutely crazy. I have asked them to read the Bitcoin Standard, hopefully. Otherwise, their rent's just going to go up forever and a day, unfortunately. Now, in regards to Trump's thing, I don't want to touch on it too much. It's really of zero interest to me. But here's the quote-unquote Bitcoin president. At the end of the day, no politician's going to save any of us. Trump, I truly believe, is going to leave Bitcoin alone. The most RFK would have left it alone. A whole lot more Trump between the two, Trump and Camilla. Just the person that's going to leave it alone, but he has gone off to be a total degen, and I don't know. The company behind it's called Rug Radio. Like, what type of programming, propaganda signal are they sending, or is it just a coincidence? Some pro-crypto Trumpers suggest he lost their votes after a token launch. I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, the other option's not any better for Bitcoin self-custody. But less than 24 hours after the Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump announced plans to launch a token through his World Liberty Financial Project, many crypto users criticized the move through social media. Well done. August, Donald Trump and his son, Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump began teasing a decentralized finance project through X without many details regarding its purpose. The Republican candidate made headlines September 12, announcing he had hosted an X-based discussion about it September 18. So that happened. And he didn't say much during it. He didn't really bring it up at all. The X-based event revealed very few details about the project, beside the leaders plan to launch a WLFI token, which they did not consider a security under the US SEC Commission's purview. Some crypto users took to social media to suggest that Trump had lost their vote by associating himself with the project. Last 3 points here. Trump launching a NAS coin may have been the final straw to lose my vote. Said Mitchell, it's one thing for him to be pro-crypto instead of just pro-Bitcoin. Not everyone is a maxi, I get it. But it's another thing to drop a 70% pre-mine token on his followers 7 weeks before the election. This just adds to the growing list of unenforced errors from the Trump campaign. And it's the joy of free speech. People can open up discussions. This is the discussion I got into this morning. Well done for this person being able to get into a house. I wouldn't have been able to if it wasn't for the government. I probably disagree with that. If the government didn't print so much money and you're saving in Bitcoin, you'd probably be all right to be able to get a house. Maybe it takes 4 years of putting in the proof of work, but I don't know. Let's just get handout from everything. Let's not take 100% self-responsibility. It's nice that we are helping out people. This lady looks very healthy, very capable. I'm not sure why she couldn't do it herself or with a partner. I don't know the situation there. Just in general with the government, they just make everything more expensive. So this is great for the individual. Absolutely fantastic. And it's helped her out a lot. Well done. Like, good job to the government for that. But when they do it for one person, they're doing it for a whole lot of people. And our taxes go up or they print more money to be able to pay for these benefits. And that cost in a socialist country is passed on to the population. And that's where we are. And then this happens, and then prices go up because the government's putting all this money and making it easier for people to be able to get in. Then they want to cap rent, so no new supply comes on, and they go up even higher again. It's actually pretty dystopian. Longer conversation. As I've said before, totally switching gears. I won't bring up Anthony Albanese too much. The guy's unhinged. Maybe I am. As I've said before, when it comes to Fed rates, we're going to accelerate towards 2.35%, 200-week moving average on the US 0-2 year, 2 year, and stabilize slowly heading towards the 40-year trend line of under 0.5%. The only chart you need to watch is the US 2-year. Bitcoin and every other risk asset on dances because that chart will continue to until the USD is replaced. Not everyone agrees with this, but British HODL is saying, while I know this and have learned this over 18 years, Greg Foss is much better, in my opinion, at educating on this than I am. I agree. I think the best way Jerome Powell could handle this situation is offer a 50 basis point cut this week and subsequently announce a formal liquidity offering at the same time. As Joe said over and over again, 25% too slow, 5% alone is a shock. Let's hand it over to the best Fed chair and Fed magician America has ever seen and see our stabs a rabbit while crushing the bag this time. We'll see. We're like 20 hours away. It's not long. We'll come back to this video at the end. Libertarianism in Australia, it is rising up. It is starting to win, which is good. And my biggest takeaway for all of them, don't believe any politician's going to save us, but they're running on a platform of less regulation and smaller government. I'm for that. If they bring out our right to self-custody, it's another tool in the tool belt. Over in the States, we're having this in Australia. It's absolutely terrible. The misinformation, disinformation bill that wants to squash free speech. Now, Hillary Clinton reckons that should have it over there in the US. Thank God, thanks Satoshi, thank you lucky stars, you do have the Constitution.
And boosting Trump back in 2016. But I also think there are Americans who are engaged in this kind of propaganda. And whether they should be civilly or even in some cases criminally charged is something that would be a better deterrence because than boosting Trump back in 2016. But
dystopian, it's crazy. These people must just all hang out with Klaus Schwab. It's the exact same rhetoric over and over and over again. Crazy. It definitely goes against the Constitution. Dr. Sean Baker, we have rescheduled for tomorrow. Here's an animal. So in the comment section, we can dive into a little bit of my journey if you're interested onto day 2 at the moment. But what an animal, really looking forward. He is the author of the book, The Carnivore Diet. Definitely recommend it for everyone. It's probably one of the biggest books to stop you eating the bugs, in my opinion. Absolutely cool. The World's Strongest Man is getting stronger on Carnivore. It's something that's pretty interesting for me. And physically, yeah, great. Like, that'll be cool if we get some benefits from that. We can come into that in the banter. I do want to dive into the libertarian. But some of the talked about benefits may be beneficial for me. We'll just play a little bit of this libertarians talking about it. And it's funny. mainstream media, this is fairly positive with it, but we've seen like a lot of pushback in the mainstream media in regards to it. This libertarianism thing is rising, and it's absolutely crazy is what they're saying. But it sounds like, and it looks like the Australian public is actually just waking up and realizing, hey, they're not going to save us. Government's not going to get better. If we can get somebody in there, it's going to make it smaller and make life a little bit better and interfere less. Let's go. It's pretty cool.
A dark horse has emerged in this year's local government elections, which are typically dominated by the two major parties. The Libertarian Party is set to sweep up to 15 local council seats across the state, capitalising on a Liberal Party power vacuum. And for a small party, they have big plans.
It's maybe one of the most beautiful cities in the world, but one party in New South Wales thinks Sydney would look better like this.
The greatest piece of real estate in the world, Manhattan.
The relatively small Libertarian Party is profiting from the Liberals' local council nominations bungle.
I think what happened is a lot of people weren't aware the Libertarian Party existed a month ago, and then they, when they saw that the Liberal Party was often not going to be on the ballot, they did some investigation and they liked what we stood for.
The Libertarians look set to win the balance of power in Camden, where the population is expected to grow more than any other area in the state. They have bold plans to tackle the housing crisis there by waving through every development application.
All the red tape, black tape, green tape, all these petty bureaucrats bossing people around. People don't have control of their property.
Some residents...
That's pretty much the takeaway. These people are just maybe allowing common sense to prevail. There'll be some teething issues, some good and bad things. Very different, or it's off the beaten path here in socialist Australia. It is what it is. So that's the news with the fast facts. We will get into a bit of a banter if you're hanging around. G'day. If you are jumping off, if you can smash the like button, if you haven't already, hit subscribe for two reasons. Number one, YouTube will push more Bitcoin content, and for yourself, you will get the news with the fast facts and the interviews, the podcasts that are coming out. The next one will be with Dr. Sean Baker when we sit down tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. What a grand and glorious day. I'm just going to drop the desk down and sit. How is everyone? What a day, hey? Bitcoin away from 58K. We'll see how long it lasts. Do we get another $58,000 day? I wouldn't be surprised. Not at all. The Denise and everyone, they're just so strong as a group of people. It's absolutely amazing how we'll just at 58K for so long. Maybe I've got a little bit of a shell shock and I'm hoping that we go back there for a whole lot longer. Does it really matter? No, whether it's 58,000, 74,000. I was talking to somebody yesterday, none of this financial advice or a price prediction or whatever. But say we only go to $150,000 next year. Well, only go there. I think it'll be what it'll be. We either hit it or we don't. Like the 50-50 chance. But say we do go there. That's more than a 2x from here. That's 200%. That's 20 times or 20 years the average stock market performance. That's not bad. And that's only if we go to $150,000. And if it doesn't happen next year and you need to wait 2 or 4 years to be able to get a double, you're still 5x faster within Bitcoin than the average stock market returns. Sort of that's the way that I see it. So it really doesn't matter whether it's 60,000, 100,000. To me, Bitcoin's going to $1 million or it's going to $0. That's just the way I see it. I think it'll happen 2030, 2034. That's nearly a 20x. It's like 200 years in the stock market. I'll take that any day. And I'm happy to wait 10 years for that. But I have started posting my carnivore journey, eat meat, Bitcoin, repeat. You'll see some clips. I'll put them out, once or twice a day. And I just really, Bitcoin got me into carnivore. They just kept pushing meat into my feed. And like I've gone through vegetarian, pescatarian, vegan, paleo, keto. I haven't done a strict raw diet, but I have tried things, and reading the books, I don't know if all fruit and vegetables are bad, or it's something that I'll stick with forever for the rest of my life. But I'm just concentrating for the next 30 days. Steak and eggs. Yesterday was absolutely insane. I've got a crazy headache from it. Supposedly it's not uncommon. It's called like a keto headache or something in regards to that. But aside from that, I feel pretty good. And we'll, if you're interested, I'll post those videos separately. But I did see a couple of comments, and like the biggest thing is like, what about the fiber? What about the fiber? What about the fiber? And I haven't done 30 days before, but I've done 5 days before. I've never had a problem doing a number 2. I had a nice, healthy number 2 last night. It's been 1 day. So that's like, it's the weirdest thing to be able to talk about. But that's what everyone sort of asks on the carnivore diet. So far, so good, but it's been 1 day. And I did see Robert there asking about it. Sorry, cringe. Earthbum Spransy, good to see you this morning, Earthbum. Always. Johnny Midas in the house. Jake Thomas, how's them steak station, Sean? Like, it is just the best thing. It's freaking amazing. 30 days of eating steak, shit. It's pretty cool. But yesterday, I had 6 eggs and I had 5 steaks. I cooked 6 steaks. I just could not get through it. And like I say, Shad, I felt good. So I'll continue to see and whether my consumption increases or decreases, or throughout the week it fluctuates. But I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty freaking excited about it. Simon, good to see you this morning. Mick Lovin in the house. Bloody champions here. G'day, mates, and all Belize Hoddle. That was Zig and Belize Hoddle. Good to see you. Reverse Kramer as always. There's Robert there asking about the toilet, hence I brought it up. McLovin, Fink explained why Bitcoin is good. To claim the Overton window is definitely shifting. Isn't it amazing? The world's best capital allocator, Bitcoin's a flight to quality. Now, I still wouldn't leave it in the ETF. And there's a gentleman in the chat. Was it? I won't call people out by name, and maybe I'm not remembering exactly who it was yesterday. It's hard to have millions of dollars in a hardware wallet. It's easy in the ETF. Yeah, it is. Like, go for it. It's no problem. It's just not the way that I think about Bitcoin. But it's cool. But all I'd say is definitely have like enough Bitcoin, for a year, a couple of years, or whatever. That isn't like Bitcoin that you're not willing to lose, I guess. Put that in your hardware wallet. If you're willing to lose, it can be in the ETF. I'm just the Coinbase honeypot. It's just interesting, and Coinbase, they unlikely to shut down or have a bank run. Probably not. They've been around sort of for the longest now. But could the government come in there and be like, not allowed to hold Bitcoin in self-custody? Yeah, absolutely. And that they have nothing can stop it. If that happens, obviously that's why it's better to have a president or someone that will defend your right to be able to self-custody once that happens. But before it happens, now we can do it. That's the way I think about it. Hey gang, E-Boot, good to see you. Good to see the Carnivore cleared all my arthritis. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. No aches. Usually I get it here when I wake up, and my finger on that knuckle there, and then on my left leg. But when I eat, like mainly meat, and especially today, no aches. It's freaking amazing. I don't know. It's crazy. I did see a good comment. Oh, we'll get to it shortly. E-Boot in the house. Hopefully the Fed keeps the rates the same. That would be epic. Bitcoin would probably crash pretty hard, I reckon, if they happen, just on fear, uncertainty, and doubt. But shit, it'd be pretty cool. If they did, it would really shake up the world. Like, imagine if they did that. It'd be crazy. People would just absolutely lose their mind. And that's the problem with the fiat system. We're watching this one guy talking animal spirits, make it up as they go. I don't envy him. I don't like his job. Holy moly. That's absolutely horrible. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be in his position. Anything pumping now. Bitcoin. Yeah. This is sort of like it's a pump for ants, but it is what it is. Overs or unders on Goldilocks being the next Sam Bankman-Fried. I think it's less likely that Brian goes to that extent. Still possible, and I wouldn't risk it, but I think it's probably more likely that the government comes in, or North Korea or the FBI or somebody hacks that honeypot in some way. So unders. I think for me, Steve, Jonathan Mendes, g'day, mate. Good to see you this morning. Carnivore has merits. Ultimately, and like this is the signal, Steve, 100%. Ultimately, the notion everyone needs the same diet is flawed, though. 100%. And whether I stick with this or not for the rest of my life, or extend it from 1 month to 2, or 1 month and 1 day, or whatever, I don't know. But it's just a challenge, I guess. And the reason I'm doing, I've sort of explained in the videos, I've got restless legs. I take these pills at night called Lyrica, which are like so horrible. It's the worst thing. Even just talking about it makes me sad. And I've taken these pills for years and years, and the efficacy of them, maybe like how receptive I am to them, they become less effective. So I need to take more and more and more. And like just the side effects of them, short-term memory loss being a big one, and something that I really notice. That's why I'm doing this. I want to be able to stop that. It's a tool, like we are what we eat. And if we can cut everything out, I can lay things back in and cut out the pharmaceutical medication. It'd be absolutely epic. But yeah, as for everyone, like what I'm doing, do it or don't do it. But for me, it's just 30 days of a challenge, and seeing if I can improve a couple of things in my life. And like I read the books about it, but like as with Bitcoin, don't trust, verify. I've tried veganism, vegetarian. It doesn't work. It's a shitty diet, in my opinion. I don't think. I truly believe we need meat. To what extent, like 100% meat or animal-based products, I don't know, and that's what I want to find out personally. Matthew J, stop pumping Bitcoin. I want more cheap sats. The sats are cheap as fuck still. This is so cheap. But I understand that the sentiment, it looked better yesterday. Like how many Satoshis are we getting per dollar at the minute? 1,660. That's still a pretty bloody good deal. Well, soon it's going to drop. Like maybe it goes higher. Maybe we go back up to 1,800. Maybe we don't. But 1,660 for every $1. That's a pretty good deal. Even if it's only $1, it's pretty epic. It's like turning $1 into $20. If like for people stuck in the fiat system, it's just time. But if you keep it and you keep your dollar as a dollar, it's just going to get debased more and more and more. And I reckon this cycle, we may see more money printing than the world has ever seen. Maybe. I think high possibility either this cycle or going into the next one, we have a sovereign debt crisis. And it's just QE infinity, which we're pretty much at already. Even when they're trying to tighten the money supply, what they put out, like another $5 trillion or something, military spending. Is it the number one or number two expense? It's projected to be the number one expense. It's wild. Like the world is absolutely insane. The fiat system, it's dead. It's failed. And I don't know whether it lasts 5, 10, 20 years. We'll probably still have the dollar, but what's it worth? My belief, my opinion, looking at history, not much. What's it lost? 96% of its value since 1971, since it got decoupled from gold. I think that's going to continue and ramp up. So Matthew J, I think it's still cheap, mate. Everyone wants Bitcoin to stop pumping. It's I like the red days too, ladies and gentlemen. Truly, I do. But it's still cheap, especially I think with what we'll see next year. But like the cycle after, holy shit. That's sort of where I focus. You need to stock up on some backup fuel so you never run into the problem again. Earthbum Sprancer, I'm not sure. Some backup fuel. Not sure. I ran out of gas on the barbecue yesterday, meal one, and day one. 1 million is so bearish, Matthew J. I understand. I think once it hits 1 million, it keeps going higher and higher and higher. I guess people new to the space may think that's like bearish or hopium or clickbait or whatever. So I think saying 1 million has been like insanely conservative over time. Short term, don't know. Up, down, and sideways, 10, 20, $30,000 days, they are coming both ways. Like an Amiga candle in Turkey. It's insane. It's absurd. But yeah, Bitcoin's just going to go up forever for the rest of our lives, as long as it stays, according to Jeff Booth, decentralized and secure. And is someone that I pay attention to. If you haven't read it, the book The Price of Tomorrow is absolutely epic. Australia is a socialist state with dystopian future. Robert, I agree 100%. And I also believe socialism's degrees away from communism. Are there merits in a socialist society? Yeah. Looking after those that are disabled, the elderly, people that can't work or engage with society. Yeah, I think it is good to be able to have free healthcare, things like that, to be able to help those struggling and in need. They're the aspects of I like of a socialist country. However, we can take self-responsibility if we weren't taxed. Like by the time you pay all your taxes, it's like 8 or 9 months of the year you're working for the government. If you're an employee, as a business owner, it's more like 3 to 4 months, depending how you play it, which is a whole lot better. But it's still 3 or 4 months of your life that they're stealing and they use to ill effect a lot of the time, make everything more expensive. If we had that capital to be able to invest and be able to create more cap, put it into Bitcoin, make more Bitcoin, we'd be able to do more for our local community and for those people. So the things that I like, I think can be done more effective in a capitalist society, or, even going down the libertarian path, just remove all the regulations, let the government get out of the way. I think it would be even better, maybe a mix of the two or a little bit of both. But what we have now, the housing crisis, the cost of living, the homelessness, the mental health crisis in this country, all of it is so sad. And most of it could be fixed with the government just stopping, getting in the way and printing an endless amount of money. That's my belief. And that's why I'm such a strong advocate of separating money from state and holding our elected leaders accountable. And even my opinions when I'm talking, firing something off at Anthony Albanese, our Prime Minister, it may be so wrong. But then other people will get in there and it'll create discourse, it'll create discussion, and there's a little bit of pushback. And we grow as people. And like same with the carnivore diet, I've learned quite a lot, obviously, to really up my salt intake, look at getting electrolytes. And there's one other thing today that I took a screenshot of that I will get, people talking about having hair loss and stuff on the carnivore diet. So not everything's like as good as it's reported, but not everything's as bad as it's reported either. Like the truth lies somewhere in the middle, or a combination of the good and bad. But I think with everything, we just need to put in the proof of work. And if you are just tuning in, if you haven't subscribed, News with the Fast Facts 5 days a week, you do get podcasts. The next one will be with Dr. Sean Baker. Smash the subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it, but also for the reason, because YouTube is going to push out more Bitcoin content. It helps all of us. If you're here for number go up technology, and you want your bag to absolutely pump, go around, comment on all Bitcoin content, both on X and YouTube. Engage with it. Start searching on Google. Allow Google search trends to continue up, because Google owns YouTube. So if you're getting if people are searching on Google a lot for Bitcoin, YouTube will start pushing it more and more and more. So any way you can engage with Bitcoin and push that message out, obviously it benefits me. You subscribing, the value back I'll give as the news with the fast facts, the interviews. I'll try to get through the signal as quick as possible, and then have open discourse at the end of these live shows. And I get so many things wrong all the time. That's what I love about this community, is so many people have gone down there each like their own rabbit holes, and they've found things that work for them or don't work for them. They've put in the proof of work. And as we then go down a similar rabbit hole, and we may be so far off base, but the people that have gone down that similar one can start to provide knowledge, and we can course correct, and then we can try those things. It's I'm grateful. So thank you. And if you want to join this journey, be even more grateful. And my promise to you is to be able to get the signal across, the news, interviews, and it's I think we're in for a pretty amazing time. Bitcoin's absolutely amazing in self-custody. The number go up side of things is epic as well. I think like once the number goes up, when you've been buying for a little while, it becomes less and less relevant. But as a marketing tool or as a freedom tool, like in the early days, if you want to stop working for a boss, if you want to say like, see you later, I got fuck you money now, like Bitcoin is this tool to be able to do that. And once that happens in your life, then you can be like, okay, cool. Like Bitcoin's actually just the money, separate money from state, and just staying free. That's the way I see it. And it may be wrong for so many people, but I guess it's right for me, and that's the joy. Keto flu, that's what it was. And it's mainly like here and then here. But it's not as bad as it was last night. It was hectic. But it's all good. It's, supposedly it's something to do with withdrawals of something. Last week I did eat 3.5 garlic naan breads with some butter chicken curry at Babaji's or Babajin's or something. It was absolutely epic. It was the best tasting naan I'd ever eaten. But maybe that's got a part to play with this withdrawals that I'm feeling. I never eat like that. I really don't eat bread in general, and it was just so tasty. I pigged out. It's so addictive. Carbohydrates. Take electrolytes to combat it. Epic. And that's what everyone was saying as well. I will not comply. Been 10 months on the carnivore. So I'll not comply. I'm pretty interested in, like, are you bald now, or like were you bald previously? Are you bald now? Is your hair falling out? Like it's a conversation that came up quite a few times on X with some of my posts there. Something to be aware of. I hadn't really heard about it, reading about it, but then, post my journey, a couple of people getting in there. I'm like, oh, this is something I need to watch. I've obviously got a lot of hair, so if I lose a little bit, it's okay. But am I going to lose like all my hair in a month? I'm going to be bald, and then I need to go to the gym more to be able to look like Vin Diesel. Like, how's that going to play out? Been doing keto for the last 2 years. Love it. Absolutely. Best food. Lurker, I'm not sure if you're talking about garlic naan or steak and eggs. I think garlic naan tastes absolutely delicious, but I don't know if it's good food. Now, I didn't feel the great afterwards. Steak and eggs always. A carnivore. I thought you said carnival diet. No wonder I gained weight. Feel like a clown and have man boobs now. Jake Thomas. Great work, Sean. Top man. Lewis. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So a strict diet of corn dogs and funnel cakes is not healthy, McLovin. Absolutely, it is not. Check out Dr. Zoe Harcombe for the many reasons why you don't need fiber, and the corporations that benefit from plant-based agriculture successfully hoodwinked the world and gave us the food pyramid. I'll check that out. But yeah, I definitely agree that we don't need fiber. When I eat a lot of fibrous materials, I just feel bloated, full, and I don't know if it's real good for our intestines and stuff. It's so interesting. It's probably like one of the things that triggers the people the most, or the questions. But I'll dive into fiber with Dr. Sean Baker yesterday and see if there's any science. I know there's science around it, actually, but get him maybe as the world expert or one of the world's experts to be able to say his piece, so I'm not misspeaking. Interest-only payment on debt is third highest expense behind healthcare and social security. Fucking, that's insane. Absolutely insane. Keto, brain clarity, income, and you'll get there. I look forward to it. It's brain fog is something that I really struggle with, and I think the Lyrica pills have something to play with that. 245 per Bitcoin within 18 months. Matthew J, I truly don't think that's unrealistic. Will it happen or not? Yes, no, maybe. But it's definitely not unrealistic. Not in the slightest. It seems absurd. What's that, a 4x from here? 400%. It's Bitcoin's done crazier things. And yeah, I think this time is different. I truly do. With the ETFs and Larry Fink here, I just think they'll want to pump it. I think they'll want to pump it really high. And that's beneficial for people holding ETFs or holding in self-custody or even leaving on an exchange until the exchange rugs you. But, you know, it's number go up technology. I think it's going to be freaking wild. Stack sats and stay free, folks. That's the point. Belgrave. Barbagie. No, it wasn't Warburton in Victoria. Belgrave's in Victoria as well, Lurker, I think. I think we drove through Belgrave train station. Maybe we went on the... Is that where it leaves from? I'm pretty sure. So that's how fucked my memory is. I can't recall the reason why people do lose hair. And somebody was saying that like taking like liver supplements or something stops that. You know, our hair, what's it made from, like quercetin or something? Maybe meat doesn't contain that much of that, but the liver things is good. Not with eggs. The biotin in eggs is amazing for hair growth. Well, I eat a lot of eggs, so that's cool. Something I want to talk to Sean about is how much to eat. Yesterday I had 6 eggs and 5 steaks. I wanted to have 6 eggs and 6 steaks. I just couldn't manage it. And I feel like for my body that's the best thing, but I haven't like really focused on this, and I don't want to undernourish my body either, I guess. Take a look at Dr. Ken Berry too. I better write this down. I'll re-listen to it. Dr. Ken Berry. Bloody Daniel Prince showed me a book to read. I asked him a question, and when someone like Daniel Prince gives a book recommendation, like I will always take it up on that. And I went to download it straight away that night, and you can't get it in Australia, so it must be a freaking really good book. It's called Red Symphony. I've no idea what it's about. I'll bring it up. But if Daniel Prince is there's a PDF of it as well. I'll read that. Well worth doing. I don't think it's Bitcoin related, but this is the book you can't get in Australia. You can get it paperback, so I'll get it shipped. And you couldn't get it on Kindle. Dr. Ledowski was a Russianized Pole and lived in Russia. His father, Colonel Russian Imperial Army, was shot by the Bolsheviks during the 1917 revolution. The life story is astonishing. He finished the Faculty of Medicine in Russia before the revolution, then studied 2 years at the Sorbonne in Paris. Spoke fluent French. He was interested in the effects of drugs on the human organism to help surgeons in operations, being a talented doctor. The All-Seeing NKVD secret police became interested in these works and easily discovered the real author. His specialty was very valuable. He lived there and was forced to carry out various jobs given to him by his masters. He was a witness to questioning, tortures, the most terrible. This book is an exact record of the questioning of the former ambassador in France during the period of trials. The questionings took place. The doctor was present. Yeah, I think the reason he recommended that is because I asked if the whole world was a stage. Be pretty interesting. I'll read the description or the blurb properly there. But that may be of interest to people. I haven't read it yet, so I can't really give a recommendation, but it did come from Daniel Prince, so worth something. Dr. Ken Barry, I've written that down. Did you read Fiat Food? Yes, I have. I think it's not here. I don't know if I have it in a physical copy. Maybe I read it on Kindle. Yeah. Also check out Dr. Anthony Chafee's brain surgeon in Australia, Pure Carnivore. How epic. Appreciate the daily commitment you put into the show. It's all good. I think it's the best way to be able to start my day. And like working for myself, if I don't follow like this strict routine, like the day just goes to shit. By having this commitment every single day, I get to start the day with Bitcoin and really kick my day off in the right way. It's nothing better. Like it's just the most purposeful thing I believe I could do. If it just helps one person to put in the proof of work to study Bitcoin, whether they buy it or not, that's a benefit. I also get the satisfaction of being able to talk about Bitcoin to Bitcoiners, because there's fuck all Bitcoiners here, and there's a couple of people that you know talk about Bitcoin and stuff, but they're also shitcoiners, and that shitcoin mindset is just such a virus, and they're unhinged. You know, they'll go real good and they'll get on the drugs, or they'll go out gambling and shit like that. And that's literally what's happening with these people. So in my life, to be able to tune into people that are present, that are based, that are putting in the proof of work, that question, that don't trust, that verify, that's the mindset that I want to be around. So it's a win-win. It's definitely selfish on my behalf as well, but I definitely appreciate that sentiment. Michael, do you let Luna eat the steak bones? Get very little steak bones unless it's T-bone. I don't know if I've cooked I have cooked one T-bone on the barbecue here. I had a couple in Victoria. Obviously Luna wasn't there, but usually we give them chicken necks. We'll buy them chicken necks, Jake. And I hate touching chicken, and I especially hate touching chicken necks. I don't know what it is about it, but it's so disgusting. Fiat Food is good. Safety has a small role in it. Yeah, it is published by the Safe House Publishing. You might be dealing with oxalate dumping if you feel like, shit, bro. Dr. Sally, author, book Toxic Superfoods. Yeah, oxalate's mainly like in salads, leafy greens, if I'm not mistaken. And last week, like I had like so little. Had steak and eggs every day. I was like sort of ramping up into it. And for some days I did have it twice a day, but I also had cheese as well. And I did eat, obviously, I had that naan. Holy cow, I pigged out on that, knowing I was going into this. But maybe, I don't know how long oxalates stay in. Like, they're scary things, the little I know about it. Maybe. Oxalate is very common from many veg and fruit we eat. Maybe I did eat like a lot of dried mango and stuff leading up to it. Couple of bananas. Did I have an apple? Didn't have an apple. In general, I usually eat a lot of fruit, a lot of nuts. I think nuts are very high in it. Maybe almond nuts as well. I think they're actually pretty bad for us, but I absolutely love them. Maybe, yeah. So maybe those things. But last week I didn't really have that much stuff, but I guess I still wasn't strict. I'm researching. Grenada for second passport, 230k investment for the whole family, somewhere to escape to when the next Mexican bear virus hits. Robert, how epic. Truly, it would be worth talking, and this is a shill, but it's so on point, the Bitcoin way with their, wherever it is, their plan B, helping. Because there's some really cost-effective places as well, way cheaper than that. But obviously, we need to choose where we live, where we want to be able to live. But their Plan B passport thing, maybe there's just some other options as well to be able to look into. Let's bring up Grenada. And just going back a sec before I look at Grenada, and someone was saying, thanks very much for me showing up. There is personal satisfaction. This is the Bitcoin way. And yes, they're the channel sponsor, which I'm proud as fuck of. To be on a page next to Natalie Brunel and Safe Dina Moose, that's absolutely very special. I guess as humans, we want to be able to provide as much value, and to be on a page next to two incredible, amazing people that I respect endlessly, that I couldn't fault in the slightest. I guess that also feeds into why I do it. And the Bitcoin way to know Tony he's one of the greatest people in the world. It's definitely one of the greatest people in my life. So part of it, but I do want to look at Grenada. I have never heard Grenada. Country in the Caribbean. Oh, fuck. That's it. Yeah. You're sweet. That, fuck yes. Let's go. Wow. Look at that. Look at that. Let's go. Wow. You're sweet. There's some cheaper places and some nice places through the Bitcoin way, but holy cow. For the whole family, 230k for the whole family. Depending on how many kids you have, that's still not too bad. That's still not too bad at all. For anyone else that thinks if 230k is a bit of a stretch, the Bitcoin way has some places that are a hell of a lot cheaper and that are still grand and glorious. They've got a couple of options there. Wow. When you are there, Robert, let us know. I wouldn't mind going. That's so cool. What a beautiful place. Yeah, I can see why you want to go there. Sort of reminds me a little bit of Cairns, actually. Sort of similar to here in a way, like this. We got a lot of palm trees and the beaches look like that, but this just looks like it's a little bit hotter, a little bit more tropical, a little bit more humidity, I guess. Hello from Adelaide. PWKK, I've not been to Adelaide yet, and everyone says it's absolutely beautiful and worth going. So, I don't know, need to get to a Bitcoin meetup or something there. Didn't you just have one last week, maybe, on a Bitcoin bush bash? Yeah, just imagine you're choking the chicken, Sean, and it will be okay. I think you're talking about touching chicken. It's still disgusting. Super late, but good mornings. Anyways, oxalates accumulate. Cool. Well, yeah, maybe it's that. So how long, I guess, is the headache gonna last? Would be my question. It's fine. I can function. I do have a massive day today in front of the computer. I will sit in the sun on the laptop probably for most of it to be able to crush it, to be able to push through. But headaches suck. So I'm happy for it to go away, hopefully in a couple of days, maybe. If it's going to last for the whole month, that's going to suck. Potassium helps. I have heard that, and I'll check that out when I go get some electrolytes. I'll do that first thing. Anyway, the biggest takeaway is Bitcoin is still cheap as fuck. This thing's going to the moon. People are going to pump the shit out of Bitcoin literally for the rest of our lives. This is number go up technology. It's also freedom technology. It allows us to be a free-thinking individual, sovereign human being. It defunds. It separates money from state. It stops the kleptocrats. It can reduce war, excess government spending, the pain and turmoil in people's lives by just opting out, saying, fuck you to the system. We've got something better that you can't control, they can't censor, they cannot get in the way of. We've got that, and it's only 60,362. The thing is going much higher, in my opinion. I think the cycle, it's going to fucking blow some people's minds. Do I care? No. It's what happens over the next 5, 10, 20 years. I think things are getting more and more totalitarian with the misinformation, disinformation bill that's going on. Even Hillary Clinton saying people that are saying misinformation or stirring people up online should be sentenced or they should be put in jail. Whatever's coming out of the World Economic Forum, nothing can be happy. The 2030 agenda. You eat the fucking bugs. Like, no, fuck you, Klaus Schwab. I prefer to read the books or eat meat, not bugs. All of these things, we've got that opportunity just to be able to opt out right now. So I think this is a fucking good deal, and it's a great day to be here. The green days, they're just a reminder that we're on the right path. And don't get shaken out. Whatever your plan is, buy, stack, and chill is mine. That's all I'm doing right now, focusing and on it. But it's truly a fucking blessing to be here with you all. You are the new financial elite, the people that will change the world. It's fucking incredible. And Bitcoiners are already doing that. Bitcoin's changed my life, and it is changing the world. It's changing so many lives. But it takes a hell of a lot of work to be able to get to that place. And a lot of time, I guess, to unfuck ourselves from the thinking that the propaganda's put in place through the school system, through mainstream media. Anyway, on that note, please do something nice for yourself, for somebody else out there. People are struggling. If you can share the orange pill, you get things like stickers from Street Cyber or whatever, and put that out and just get people maybe to start paying attention to Bitcoin. Or you see someone that's struggling, they're living rough on the street, and you've got a couple of bucks of cash in your wallet. Share it. Sharing is caring, and it may not fix their life, but it may help them in that moment, or it may just add a little bit of joy in whatever way. I don't know. It's been a pleasure. Have a grand and glorious day. I will not comply.